Hello, welcome to another podcast with, oh my gosh, a podcast with called The Confidence Cure with Louise. Again, we are going to get there some day or another. So today we are talking about the hidden psychology behind why smart people, particularly smart people, that are very successful, they know what they're doing, but they always still manage to sabotage their health or their goals or like their future. And more importantly, how you can actually break it. And the one thing that I have always found that it frustrates most people that are successful, it is not the fact that they don't know what to do. It's not the fact of the lack of progress. It's the fact that they actually know exactly what to do, yet they struggle to do it consistently. So they would literally be able to spur out, I think I should do this, I think I should do this, X, Y, Z, but they never actually like continue it or carry on or go through with it. And here's a book, like literally the truth. If you can run a business, lead a team, raise kids, manage chaos, keep that relationship, and still can't stay consistent with your health or something else that's your personal goal, the problem is not discipline. It is actually psychology and what your brain is keeping you tied to. So this episode is going to talk about the real reason why people, particularly again, smart people, driven people, capable people, sabotage their goals. And more importantly, again, like I said, how you are going to be able to break that pattern. So one thing that everybody knows and something that they always forget, like everybody always forgets this, and I don't know why. And there's me generalizing saying everybody, but the majority of people that I come across do forget that your mind does not care about your goals. Your brain is wired for safety, not success. All your brain cares about is keeping you in familiar emotional territories. So if your familiar state is self-doubt, not feeling good enough, chaos, overworking, fixing everyone first, that is where your brain is going to drag you back to. So if you're constantly around toxic people and you break away from them, you will end up going back to toxic people or chaos because that's what you're safe with. If you are constantly telling yourself, you're worrying subconsciously about self-doubt and you start feeling confident, if you haven't break that cycle, you will end up in other situations where you start self-doubting yourself again. And that is what your brain is trained to do. It is literally trained to keep you comfortable, and if that's what you're used to, that is comfortable for your brain. And that is, like I said, generalizing again, but this is just a pattern that I'm seeing. A lot of people that I speak to just forget about it. I'm not saying everybody does, but a lot of people around me at the moment, that's one topic that I'm noticing that they are forgetting. And this brings to the deeper identity, like there's a conflict in with identity, with deeper identity conflict. Okay, so this is where you will never, ever, ever grow out your identity that you are attached to if you do not break the cycle and if you do not become aware of what your brain is actually doing or what it's telling you and what cycle you're actually in. So, if you are secretly seeing yourself as the one who must hold it together, the one who pushes through, the one who never rests, the one who prioritizes other, then being a person who trains consistently, eats well, goes for morning walks, puts themselves first, reads a book before they even get out of bed, drinks a liter of water before they get out of bed, that's not going to be good for them. It's not going to make you feel safe, even if it is good for you, because that's not what your brain is used to. It doesn't make it comfortable. It makes it's not difficult, but it feels unsafe. And there's a difference, even though it is good for you mentally, physically, emotionally, your brain will see it as so uncomfortable. It will see it as difficult. It will see it as unsafe. So then what will happen then is it will bring you back into the cycle of what you're used to, whether that's the chaos, the situation where you're going to be self-doubting, it's going to be bringing you back into something like that. The identity that you have been living in for years. So this is why you go through these all or nothing cycles. You end up like, I always do this. And a lot of people, again, I'm generalizing a lot, but you'll hear a lot of people, this is what always happens to me. This is what happens when this happens, or I'll do it for this long. Like this, they have their own pattern, but they don't take the time. You're not taking the time to literally like, okay, what is it trying to keep me on, like every time I'm feeling uncomfortable, what am I trying to get break free from? What am I trying to learn or anything like this? So, and another thing that I've noticed is if you are somebody that does go around in these cycles and you're very successful, you're smart, you know exactly what to do, but you are not managing to do it, it's trauma driven. It's not character driven. you have got something where you have like, what's the words, where you have to achieve something to make yourself feel good, that dopamine hits, and you have to do everything by all or nothing. Basically, you have to put everything in and you have to see your progress to get that hit. And every time you put you're making yourself feel uncomfortable and you're breaking that cycle, that is then making you feel crap. And that's what's making you fail and feel bad about yourself, basically. So you are trying to always, like, you will always be successful, but you will always look at the way that you do it is however you've been comfortable with. So if you're used to the toxic people, chaos, and all them things, you will stay in that cycle of around them people. You won't do it in a peaceful, energetic way where you actually want to. You'll just be sitting there like going through life, but just around the things and the people that you don't actually want to be around, and not actually doing the things that you want to do for yourself yet. So you're not actually enjoying the success because you still feel crap in yourself anyway, and you've still got the horrible people around you. There's different ways you can look at it. And you will always notice that, like, this again, coming back to the all or nothing, with being super successful and just having such a drive, the perfectionism is a terrible strategy. Like, literally, it will be a case of, yeah, I'm going to do absolutely everything. I'm going to do this 5 times a week. I'm going to make sure that I cut out all refined sugar. I'm not going to I'm not going to do XYZ at all, because I am going to smash this like you do everything else. So then what will happen then is, when you miss like one workout, or you do have a piece of cake or whatever, I don't know, whatever it is that you do that breaks that all or nothing mindset, the thing that you promise yourself you're not going to do, um your brain then says game over, and then it's literally just, you just return back to that state that, just going back to the chaos, like, yeah, okay, I've given up on myself, and let's just go back to everything else that I believe, because that's what you've just done. You haven't taken it small, and it's just the conditioning that you've actually put in your brain. That, like, feeding yourself good, going to the gym, being around like-minded people, being in the right relationships is going to make you feel good, but you will self-sabotage it by either going all or nothing, or just doing, what to do, but you'll just not listen to it or the advice that you've been given, and still do that approach anyway, knowing that it's not going to work, and you will just go back to the old conditioning, the old state, and make yourself feel comfortable, deep down knowing that you don't want to do it that way. So yeah, your nervous system doesn't can trust the consistency. So if you are literally just starting something, like, with the all or nothing mindset, your nervous system, that's going to be putting your nervous system into a lot. Like, every single time I do something brand new or anything like that, if I go full force and that's all I do, I then, like, there's a backlog of my emotions. My body sometimes goes through things every time my nervous system takes a hit. I can physically feel it, and this is what happens to absolutely everybody, but they just literally just fall straight back into the state. Like, your old patterns come back when your nervous system is under attack, basically. And yeah, if you it just takes you back to what you're comfortable with. So if you grew up around stress, unpredictability, criticism, pressure, um or just not peaceful, that's what it will bring you back to. So when you are doing things that are good for you, so when things calm down and you start succeeding, your nervous system panics, and it's just like, this is unfamiliar, let's just go back. um like I said, it just makes you feel uncomfortable. Your nervous system takes, like, oh my God, a hit, like, what the hell is going on? And that's why, like, Mondays might feel exciting, Wednesdays might feel heavy, and then by Fridays you're literally done. So, like, Monday you're just like excited to get back into the drama. Wednesday you are literally like, oh my God, this is like, I cannot wait for the weekend, because you need a rest, because you know that, like, what you are doing is pulling you down, you're not putting into yourself. Come Friday, you are literally done, and you spend the weekend literally not doing anything for yourself, but just recovering for all the stress that you put yourself through the week. So and then you do have that exciting feeling on a Wednesday, because your nervous system is excited to go back to what you've just had to recover from. However, you still think, oh my God, I got Monday blues. Like, it's such a cycle that everybody goes through, and I'm generalizing again. So how do you actually break this? There are so many things that we can do. Um, And it's the one thing that is very, very simple, which you probably already know. Like I said, you are somebody that already knows what to do. Like, if I asked you for advice, you would be able to give me sound advice, but you don't take it yourself. Like, and this is where a lot of people actually get it wrong. They try to fix the sabotaging with more rules. Rules do not break sabotaging at all. More restriction does not break it. More pressure does not break it. That literally just deepens it because it's again of that cycle. You're just improving the cycle. You just add into the cycle, and that's just what it's used to. So more rules, more restriction, more pressure is not going to make it any easier at all. If you generally want to overcome it, then you need to start with the psychology, not foods, not workouts, not like anything else, but you just need to start with what's going on in the brain. So the psychology of it. You need to build the safety and not discipline. So you need to look at like why, what is the cycle? Okay. And what is it trying to keep you safe from? And what is your comfortable zone? Okay. So you need to make your, when you are going through changes, you need to make it feel safe. And there's different ways you're going to do that. Um, so breaking the perfection and style cycle. So we need to look at how you can literally stop being so perfect. Like perfect is not going to get you absolutely anywhere. You need to be, I always say, sure, you need to be consistently crap at something, and then you learn how to be perfect. And just doing that very, very smallly. So, like, right, okay, I'm going to do this. What's the worst way I can do it? And then I'll learn how I can get better at it. So that will then lower the emotional pressure. So, ex lower your expectations of yourself. That is going to stop you from being wanting to be so perfect, rather than saying, right, I am going to go to the gym 6 times a week. I am literally just going to do a home workout for 20 minutes once a week, and then get comfortable with that. Like, then your brain will be like, oh, okay, this isn't too bad. Then you'll go back into your chaos, and then you're building the routine, and you're building the nervous system up to feeling like this over a longer period of time. But it's more comfortable. It's more long lasting. Your body will get used to it over a smaller period, and it won't throw you out of everywhere. Simpler meals and things. So like if you, a lot of people when they are trying to get like to some sort of health kick, they'll be like, right, okay, I'm just gonna cut out all refined sugar. If it like obviously if you're like an athlete and you've been in fitness and everything for a long period of time, but if you were like a gen pop and you've been going through takeaways, or you're going out, or you're buying lunch every day and you're not sure, your nutrition is not that good, you need to start simple. What's easy? What are you doing right now? How can we break the cycle from rather than doing meal preps for the next 3 days, making sure that we're 110% on our macros and how much protein we've got in there, because that there again will break the nervous system. Whatever you're eating right now or whatever is what you're comfortable with. Again, we need to do that over time, just like with the exercises. You wouldn't just go straight into the gym 6 times a week. You'd do it slowly over a period of time. And then you would learn about what you like, how you like it. And again, that's how you start to build trust with what you're doing, and your brain goes at the same pace as what your body is. So if you're putting your body under so much, your brain does not catch up with it because it's just feeling nervous, uncomfortable, and it's hating every single bit about it. Um, and always celebrate the small wins. A lot of people will always say, right, I need to do 10, 20 kg. That's absolutely great if that's your goal. But realistically, if you are still in the waiting game, like if you are just waiting for that 10, if you're waiting for that 20 kg, if you are waiting for just that, that can take a longer period of time. And again, your brain will be like, it will still be putting you down because you haven't achieved that yet. But if you can break it down into small wins, oh my God, like, yeah, this is going to be a journey, but I've just started. 1 kg. Okay, yeah, I've managed to incorporate more protein into my breakfast. I've managed to do this. Your brain will start to celebrate certain things that are good for you, and that is a different type of conditioning. You are teaching your brain that consistency within these things is safe, and it's not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. So celebrating the small wins is actually a really good thing to do. And I always say this all the time, and people are just like, yeah, but it's not really a win as such. It doesn't matter what the actual win is. It's about what you're teaching your brain. It doesn't matter who you're teaching or whatever it is like that. All you need to think about is, okay, what am I teaching my brain right now? It's like, okay, yeah, I've smashed a workout. Literally, celebrate it. Celebrate every single workout. If you are not feeling great, but you managed to go for a walk, celebrate it. If you've just lost 0.5 kg, celebrate it. If you are still going out with your friends and stuff like that, but you've still ordered, I don't know, something that's not as nutritious, but you've decided to order a side of vegetables, celebrate it because that's not something you would usually do, but yeah, it's still going to help you. Like celebrate all the tiniest wins that you are starting to introduce into your life because, like I said, that will then build a bond and you will start to teach your brain that this is safe. Another way that we would look to it is look at what you are believing in yourself. So you need to interrupt the identity that you're already stuck in. So ask yourself a very, very blunt question. Why do I believe I have to be? So if you believe you're strong, you believe you have to be resilient, if you have to believe that you have to be the achiever or the problem solver, then you doing the opposite to that and putting into you first is going to feel wrong. You need to try and rewrite what your identity is coming from. Okay, so if you're believing that you're strong, resilient, and all of these things, which is great, you probably are, but you can still be doing them things, but you just need to tweak how you are believing it because whatever you believe is going to be coming true. So if you can teach yourself, so say for instance you are say you say I push through everything, if you can just tweak that to I'm somebody who supports my mind and body first, so then I can handle life on my terms. So you can still be that person that's still there for everybody else, but that comes from being in a better space for you. So then you're actually helping your brain understand why you are actually doing these things for yourself. Because your brain believes that you have to be strong, you have to be resilient, you have to be the achiever. So if you are literally saying, if you're telling your brain, right, I am going to be supporting my mind and body because then I can actually still be strong, resilient, this, that, and the other, then Ray, it is going to literally applaud that and it's going to want you to do it more. So when people say identity, like people think that they have to change the whole identity, they have to believe that they have to stop being exactly who they are. That is not the case at all. You can start so small. It's just tweaking a sentence. And that will literally just start the ball rolling. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. You don't have to rewrite your whole life just because of like something that you believe in yourself and how you've been identifying yourself for such a long time. So there's a misconception about how when people say that my whole identity has changed. That's not the truth. You don't. A lot of people get scared when they think that they have to have an identity change because they think that they're going to lose themselves completely. But actually, it's just supporting the person you are. But it's helping support the brain be comfortable with that. Um, and I think I'm getting a cold with this. And yeah, another step that we can also go is you can reconnect your progress to self-worth. And this is not what a lot of people will talk about or they don't really want to admit, but self-sabotage is mostly a self-worth issue. Like not a lot of people will say that. They will say it's because of the way I've been brought up, it's because of this, it's because of that. Most likely, yes, but that will bring it back to self-worth. Like what do they think about themselves? Your cycles from childhood, relationships, this, that, and the other would have brought some sort of self-worth within you. When you don't believe that you deserve the result, you'll reject it the moment it shows up. And I cannot tell you the amount of times I have done that. Like when with my weight loss, as soon as I started to see like definition and stuff, and I was like feeling like I was just like okay, and like I would go back into my old habits because like okay, yeah, I've come far enough now, and then I'd literally go backwards, and that I've seen it happen so many times, and that was a self-worth issue with myself. Like, why do you need to be any better than what you are? And it does happen a lot more than what you think, and that does come from some sort of like cycle that you've come from in the past. So when you don't believe that you deserve the result, you reject it. Like I said, you'll just literally reject it. So what you can start to do and start to ask yourself is, and this will literally change the way that you start to think about it, is what would I do today if I believed I deserve to feel good? So that will then start to push you to do action that actually support you feeling better about yourselves. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be consistently. So if you can just ask yourself certain things. Another way I also do that with certain clients. So you get I do this quite a lot with my clients actually, is we get to their core values, we'll get to their like core five values, okay? See where they are actually, why they're important to them. And we will look at, are their actions aligning with their values that are actually important to them? How aligned is their life and their actions with that? And that there will automatically be like, oh my God, like that's why am I doing that? Because that's not even important to me. That's not going to help. And another way is like, how are your values actually contradiction each other? So like if one is safety, one is security, one is freedom, one is this, one is that, but sometimes like they're in battle. That like you want freedom, but you want to be secure. So you want to be self-employed, so you want to go here, there, and everywhere, but that doesn't give you the security. Your values can be really contradicting each other. So that's something that you can also look at. So just constantly check in with yourself. What's going on with myself? Am I contradicting myself? Don't forget there's always like two sides of you. Whatever your subconscious is telling you and what you are consciously aware of, which is not a lot to be honest, none of us are. But there is also there's always a contradiction that's going on. So yes, I want to be free, but then I also feel need to secure. Okay, how can I make myself feel free at the same time feeling safe? And this is where you need to start asking yourself the questions. Okay, so what would you actually do today if you believe you deserved to feel good enough? If you no, if you deserve to feel good, okay, and then you can, if you wanted to, you can up that. Find your core values. Are you aligning with them? Do your actions meet them values? What do them values mean to you? So it could be family, it could be love. What does your family bring to you? Unconditional love. What does a partner bring to you? Connection. What does financial freedom give to you? Freedom, choices. Like, why are you doing that? Then look at your actions, look at them. Are they actually contradiction? Are you in a battle with yourself, with your own values? Okay, so you want to be free, so you're doing this, that, and the other, but then also you know the system is all over the place because it doesn't feel safe. What actions can you do to align all of your values in one? And that there will make a massive, massive shift. Um, and then you need to create some emotional accountability and don't make that feel like it's a punishment either. People, like very successful people, respond to responsibility. So successful people thrive off responsibility. I don't know why, they just like that feeling. They've got that's that drive. They are succeeding. They like the responsibility. It gets them out of bed in the morning. So when they have let things slip, they will spiral. Okay. And they will literally just spiral. So some things that you can actually ask yourself, what emotion was I actually craving? Why did I do that? Okay. What pressure am I trying to escape from? So if you have not done something or you've let yourself down in one way or another, don't see it as a failure. See it as a learning and ask yourself these questions. What emotion was I craving? What pressure am I actually trying to escape from? What story was running my behavior? So why did I do that? What's the cycle that I'm going on here? What can I learn from this? I have obviously done this in one way or another. If you don't overcome it, you don't break the cycle, it'll just come up in the future anyway. So what is this going on here? And just take a step back and ask yourself these questions. The more questions you ask yourself, why? One of them like a really annoying child, like why this, why that, why that. Keep on asking why. The higher you can go and ask yourself, why am I doing that? What story is this? Where is this coming to? That is then you're then going to understand, and this is where you're going to start feeling better within yourself and not like you're not gonna beat yourself up as much because you get that understanding. Okay, this right, you'll actually like, okay, I want to support that's not cool. This has come from a really traumatic experience, or this, that, and the other. You'll want to make it better. So you will most likely love yourself a little bit more because you'll understand where these things are coming from rather than you thinking, okay, I keep on letting myself down. I keep on saying I'm going to do X, Y, Z. But if you actually start to look at why the behavior is okay, you will start to probably be right, okay. And then you will understand. As soon as you understand, you're aware and you can start taking actions that actually align with your values and what you're trying to achieve, you will then you'll start to feel a lot less emotion to it because the emotion that you get when you feel like you're failing is not good, and then you would try and avoid it. That's why you try and break all the habits that are getting you to where you need to be. So being aware, that will help you change the emotional stops of the sabotaging. like I says, changing the rules is not going to change. So if you keep on saying, right, this time, rather than right, I keep on failing, so this time it's going to be all or nothing, it's going to be this time, I am going to make sure that I do not do this. I'm going to be up at 5 a.m. every morning. I'm going to do this, this, and this. The more rules you put on yourself, the harder you are going to find it. So the more that you can understand, the more aware you can be, the more questions you can ask yourself, the more you can literally find out about yourself and what's going on, your values. Are you aligning with your values? Why? Just keep like that annoying child, but why? But why? But why? Keep on asking yourself that. You will create such a trusting process with yourself. It doesn't matter about anybody else. Literally take everybody else out of the equation. It's got nothing to do with them. It's about how you trust yourself, understanding yourself, understanding the cycle that you've been going through, and breaking it from a supportive place. So you're supporting the brain. So like actually another thing is like supporting the brain. I always say to clients, you've got two sides. So the brain is actually just trying to keep you safe. It's not trying to do anything bad. It is literally trying to keep you safe. So thanking that, like, okay, yeah, I know you're trying to save me from this, this, and this. But however, slowly we're going to learn together that this is actually safe. And that's all you're trying to do is like bridge the relationship between the person that the brain that's trying to keep you unsafe because it's actually trying to do you good to the person that's got the goals. So they just need to work together. Why is my brain telling me that it's unsafe to do a workout or eat safe? And this is where you need to work with your brain rather than against it. But you can only do that if you start to break the cycles, if you start to become aware, if you start to look at if your actions are aligning with your values, if you start to accept what's going on rather than just like start beating yourself up. And that is what's going to bring you just success. So, yeah, if this is a part of you that is tied up in a cycle, start with what I've recommended. Start asking yourself why, start asking yourself some deep questions, start looking at your values. Are they aligning? If you don't know how to get your core values or if you're in conflict or anything like that, reach out. Like there is always help out there, literally, and always remember that you're not the only person that's doing this, that's in this situation. But like I said, the first thing you need to do is be happy with how your brain is actually trying to keep you secure and keep you safe. It's not actually trying to work against you, and that's going to make a massive difference. So yeah, if you found this helpful, reach out, and if you do need any help, then I am always open to helping.